Hey there, everybody. Trending here. I'm sorry. I'm laughing every time I start trying to record this. Either a car goes by out in front of the house, or out in the backyard. I'm sure you can hear the crow that is just talking up a storm out there and will not shut up. I don't know who he's arguing with, but anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and record through it. I don't care anymore. So for years, I have wanted to write this story down. I tell it to people a lot. When it comes up in conversation. But I always thought that I should write it down. That way I don't have to tell people individually. Well, now that I've started trying to kind of push my YouTube career, and I don't know if this would be considered a vlog at all or not, but whatever. At various points in our lives, we meet people that have a lot of influence on us, as, in our daily lives and whatnot. And when I had joined the Army had joined in 1989, and in 1990, I was stationed in Hawaii in Schofield Barracks, and there was a Star Trek convention that showed up at the King Kamehameha Hilton, I believe it was, in Honolulu, and I found out about it on a Saturday morning. And within about 2 hours, I was at the hotel with every cent I had. And I was just going through, and I bought like a Starfleet Medical Academy surgical scrub top, which I was a medic in the Army. I had to have it. That was really important to me. I bought, a couple of other things. I don't remember what they were. I've since lost them in various moves and whatnot throughout the course of my life. But at one point, I'm standing at this table, and there's a guy standing next to me, and I was looking at all the various, buttons and posters and postcards and the various bits of memorabilia and whatnot that you could buy, and it was really interesting timing. Just about every time I was done looking at whatever was right in front of me, this guy would step off to the side, and then I would move over and look at the next group of stuff, and this kept happening at fairly regular intervals, and eventually he was talking to somebody, and I wasn't really paying any attention. And eventually he wanders off, and I'm holding this postcard that has all of the Next Generation cast on it, and I am just completely lost in thought. I'm thinking about all of the episodes that I watched before I joined the Army, and just kind of reliving the moments of sitting in my living room watching this show that I love so much. And this person says, who's right across the table, says, "Do you want me to autograph that for you?" And I was, like I said, I wasn't there. I was, reliving these moments, and I said, "No, that's okay, thank you." And slowly, it sank into my head that the person who had just asked me if I wanted them to autograph this for me was Majel Barrett. And I was like, oh my God. I turned and I was just like, I don't normally get kind of freaked out when I meet famous people. It's just really not my thing. And I don't really ask for autographs. I don't really see a lot of point to it, but that's another thing. But I also had spent all of my money, and I could not even afford this little postcard. So I put it down, and I said, "Oh, no, thank you, but thank you." And she just smiled at me, this just beautiful, bright, genuine smile, and she kind of pointed at me. She said, "We share a common profession." And I was just like, "How did you know I want to be an actor?" And she said, "No, I mean, we're both in the medical field," and she's pointing at this medical patch that I had on my shoulder. And I was like, "Oh, right." She said, "Yeah, because I was Nurse Chapel." I said, Doctor. She's like, "Right, Dr. Chapel. I'm sorry, Dr. Chapel." I was like, And at that point, I lost my mind a little bit, and I couldn't really think of much else to say. But she kind of looked around, and she said, "I'm supposed to go upstairs to do kind of a Q&A thing right now, but my security escort isn't here." She said, "Would you mind escorting me up there?" And I was like, gone, just not even there. was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And so she took my arm, and we walked upstairs, and I know we talked about something, but I was so, oh my God, this is Majel Barrett. Oh my God. I can't remember. To this day, I cannot remember what we talked about. And it didn't matter. I was walking and talking with Majel Barrett. That's what mattered to me. One of the icons of my entire life. Probably one of the reasons that I wanted to be a medic. I mean, Star Trek was part of that. Anyway, so we get to the doors that open up into the main convention hall, and it's like going to see the Wizard of Oz. These doors open, and there is this ocean of people. I mean, it's levitating room only. Every seat is filled. And as the doors open up, everybody turns and looks back at me and Majel Barrett. And they were looking at Majel Barrett, but I was right there. I mean, I had her arm, So she kind of turns and smiles at me. She says, "Thank you so much for walking me up here." So it was my distinct pleasure. And I kissed her hand. I said, "Have a good Q&A." She said, "I will." And she started walking up the center aisle. The doors closed in front of me. And I have no idea what happened for the rest of the day. I mean, I know parts of what happened, but I left the hotel, but I don't think my feet were on the ground. I really don't think they were. I have had very few moments like that since then or ever before that. And so that is one of my favorite Star Trek actor interaction stories to tell ever. And I thought it best to go ahead and share that with you guys. So there you go. That's how I met Majel Barrett.